Hi, everyone. Welcome back. You're still with us here on the C Morning Show. It's 20 past 7 in the a.m. And as Karina mentioned earlier at the top of the program, today one of our discussions is going to cover education. And we are going to dive into the opportunities and challenges that Indonesian students encounter when they consider international education. And joining us this morning is Muhammad Hardiansyah, the program coordinator of the United World Colleges, or UWC Indonesia.
That's right, Paul. UWC is a global organization that brings together people, nations, and cultures through education with a focus on peace and sustainability. This high school program awards an international baccalaureate diploma recognized by universities worldwide. Good morning.
Good morning, Hardy. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much for joining
Thank you
us.
for having me. Thank you.
Now, I mean, it takes me back to high school. I know.
Not so long ago.
I mean, international baccalaureate, as known to many, was not the greatest time part of high school, but very, very difficult.
Challenging.
That's right, Paul. Very challenging indeed. But just could you maybe explain to us a bit about UWC's core mission generally and its values in guiding these students, although it may be challenging and tough, but it is indeed worth it at the end?
Yeah, definitely. So United World Colleges, or UWC, was founded by Kurt Hahn in 1962. He was a German philosopher and educator who witnessed this destructive impact of world wars. And then he believed that education is the force that could prevent this from happening again. So in 1962, the first UWC was established in the UK. They bring together young people from different cultures, ethnicities, nationalities to live and study together to foster this discussion about what peace should look like and what the world in the future they would want to see to be, right? And as of today, there are 18 campuses around the world in 5 continents that caters the IB program. And for UWC Indonesia, we have sent about 150 plus students since our first operation in 2002. And some of the key values that the UWC teach is on international and intercultural understanding, because they're forced to live in this environment where they have, to 24/7, they're exposed to their friends who are different, and then automatically there will be discussions sparking from this environment. Hopefully they can become the agents of peace, agents of change within their community in the future. So really it's about how to educate these students to become different from other students. And also to prepare them for universities to become more competitive. Another value is also respect for environment, because as we know, the environmental degradation is such a huge issue at the moment. And the curriculum itself immerses the students in that issue. And also one of the core value is actually compassion and service, because the curriculum itself forces them to take community services and community actions, as you know.
Good times, yeah.
Okay, so this is, you've mentioned plenty of reasons why an Indonesian student would be motivated to get an international education abroad as well. But what should students consider when applying to an international school? And what are some of the key criteria? What are some of the differences, for example, if they were to apply for post-secondary education here as opposed to abroad?
Sure. For international students, Indonesian students to go to international program or study abroad, they really have to make sure about their career goal, personal goal, as well as academic goals, and that they have to try to align that with the program that the schools offer. So it's very important to just not study abroad to travel, because some students do that. So it's all about studying and developing themselves.
Just choosing where I want to
visit. Blindly.
Exactly. I want to go to Spain.
Purpose.
And then there is also very important to know the support that the school provides, especially if you have learning difficulties or disabilities or mental illness that needs special support. And it has to be, especially these days, it has to be on top of the list of when they select the certain program.
Would language be one of those as well? Because if you're in a non-English speaking country, for example, you mentioned Spain, it could be a language barrier as well, right?
Yeah, exactly. And these days, especially if high school students applying for university abroad, usually there are two programs, one in their own language and then English language. So it's very important to do that as well.
Okay.
And in some countries such as Japan, they do have preparatory courses to prepare them in the language for about a year. And then in order to bring them to like Japanese instructed classes.
Okay, and apart from being, academic grades, perhaps obviously being one of the key criteria, are there any other key criteria that is required of these students when they apply?
Yes, the first one is extracurricular involvement, both inside and outside of schools is very important as like the meat of their substance, because that could also invoke their ability to self-reflect, and that is very important in essay writing. Right?
Okay. Do you have any examples of what those extracurricular may be?
Sure. Some of the most impactful extracurriculars usually something that is of the students' passion, because that is going to be more
How they
meaningful
excel,
and purposeful for the students, or something that promotes their leadership. Foster their leadership, as well as if they're passionate about the environment, then they should join or create a new organization within the school.
Right.
And join maybe like a local organization that can work together with the school and promotes kind of like, they can invite other students in the school to join as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Thought of that extracurricular.
Yeah, because I remember I had mine, and I was teaching English to this local school that was behind our school. So every Wednesday, we would take the time, an hour or two, to have them come to our school.
And that was actually a big part of it.
Yeah, that was great. But Hari, I was just wondering, this type of educational experience definitely shape a student, not only short term, but also long term in what they want to do in their career, professionally, and even personally. But what other, do you think, specific advantage would this have for those students who maybe have plans to study abroad and not come back to Indonesia, and for those who actually want to come back to Indonesia and help the country improve?
Yeah, definitely. So there's no like a higher importance placed on cultural intelligence, and joining programs such as UWC or studying abroad, it kind of intensifies this cultural intelligence, and it sets them apart from other students if they're at university, or other employees when they are in a job, right?
Value-added.
Exactly, and as these days, government agencies, private companies, they are increasingly looking for this type of candidates, and I think it's very important. As well as to grow their compassion and service, they tend, when they come back to Indonesia or when they start the job somewhere else or live somewhere else, they tend to have a higher sense of compassion. And that leads them to either join volunteering activities, or just, we've seen a lot of graduates who help shape new organizations or build social businesses as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you see foreigners coming to Indonesia, they start learning about our culture, our heritage. Some of them even stay at the rural areas, and they start feeling, oh, this is, I'm feeling like I'm part of this and I have to contribute more to it. And I guess that works both ways as well. So let's talk about challenges that in the past students' experiences that have taken part in this program. What are some of the challenges that they've had to face throughout the process?
Sure. Talking from personal experiences as well, I came from Aceh, and then I was placed in the US for my education. It was quite cultural shock. But beyond that, the most pressing one would be the ability to adjust to the curriculum, especially IB. And the IB or other study abroad curriculum is very intense on writing, research, and critical thinking. And this is something quite challenging for Indonesian students because they are not too equipped with this here.
So we were taught that at a young age.
Culturally, we're not,
So it is something like of a strange concept.
And
when they go abroad, a lot of them are shocked with this.
Okay. How competitive is it when it comes to attending? Suddenly you're in this new, you're basically in this new environment. Is it quite competitive as well?
Yes, especially within the first 3 months, it can be quite stressful for the students, and they will be meeting students from other countries that are probably like also excellent students.
Sure.
And that's when the competition comes. I used to be the top students back in Aceh, and
Yeah.
I went to the US and was like,
Yeah.
who am I now?
The,
Right, you
the
know?
big fish in the little pond, suddenly you're in the
Exactly,
All right, okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
So that happens as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But also another challenge is the financial barriers.
Okay.
Going abroad, especially, or even UWC, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
And the students need to be sure that they have the ability either to pay or to find support for this financial.
Well, so that would be perfect because we were just about to ask.
Yeah, no, speaking of exactly
Sure, sure.
financial, do you guys have any scholarships or financial aids for these programs?
We do, definitely.
Okay.
We do have full scholarships as well as partial scholarships.
Okay.
And for full scholarship, we have some scholarship that covers only tuition and boardings, and also some all-inclusive, where we also cover tickets and pocket money and everything.
Oh, wow.
What are the requirements for such scholarships?
For
It is
full
needs-based, so we do rigorously do financial assessment,
Yeah.
and from there we will define whether the student should get partial or
full.
scholarships.
That's perfect.
Well, that's
As
great.
opposed to having
Yeah.
academically based,
Yeah,
right? It's not
yeah.
always fair.
Fair,
Exactly.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's look ahead a little bit. Let's zoom out. How do you see international educational programs evolving in Indonesia over the next 5 to 10 years? We know that the school system in Indonesia as well has vastly improved over
Yeah.
the last couple of
Yeah.
decades. There's a rising importance in global connections. We're also interconnected globally. And as you mentioned at the top of our discussion, sustainability is such a big issue right now. How do you see this evolving over the next half or full decade?
Yeah, definitely. This is something that I'm very excited to see in the education in Indonesia in the next 5 to 10 years, because I feel like there will be a lot of international minded education
Yeah.
that will be developed in the next 5 to 10 years. And it doesn't mean that there will be more international schools, probably,
Right.
but also for national schools, the curriculum might actually encapsulate all these aspects of like critical thinking, international understanding, and there might be more collaboration between international schools and national schools.
Yeah.
And talking about the environment and sustainability and climate change, we have seen schools like Sekolah Alam and Green School in
Yes.
Bali.
Green School, yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm pretty sure in the next 5 to 10 years there will be more schools
of
like
that.
those, as well as probably university that focuses on sustainability. Right? And with more funding coming from the government as well as from third party from abroad, there might be more support on that as well.
And I suppose that will make the bridge a lot, it'll bridge the gap a little
Shorter,
bit
yeah.
more, right?
Exactly, and there will be more students that will be more encouraged to actually pursue the environmental and sustainability as education, because now there is the platform to actually do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's great, because when I was in school, it wasn't really quite common yet to have
Oh,
that
well,
subject.
Yeah.
you and I went to school at a different time.
Even during my
We're
time,
learning about
Paul.
the ozone layer back in my days, and wondering if that hole was real. So thank you so much for this
Thank you so
discussion.
much.
We hope that through your efforts, we're able to empower more Indonesian students to pursue global education whenever necessary. It's been a great couple of decades for you guys so far already.
Thank
and we
you.
hope we continue that over
Many
the
more
next
to
at
come.
least 5 to 10 years.
Thank you, Hardy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Andy, for coming on the program. We're set to take another short break. I almost fell off my chair there for a second. It's been so exciting here. But we've got more exciting news as well as world headlines coming your way when we return after this short break, only on the C Morning Show. Stay with us.